All right, everyone. Hey, welcome back. And here's another video for the followers on doing some follower technique specifically in the Giro. So when I teach privates, I often find a very similar problem with kind of a large amount of followers. And so I wanted to talk to you about two different things I find in my private lessons with my follower students so that you can consider making these corrections on your own. So the two places where we run into the biggest problems when it comes to the Giro is after the forward side the side to the forward step, the way that followers collect there, and then also from the back to the side to the forward, that kind of transition there. So let's start with the latter, back side forward. So at the back side forward, what we should have is back, side, and forward. And this side step usually gets missed. It turns into something like back, collect, pivot, forward, or it turns into something like back, little tiny side step, and then a pivot forward. And for me, I want the side step because for me a side step is a side step. And if I'm not going to really determine the size of your steps. Of course, we can determine the size of your steps in the Giro, but if I'm just kind of doing a generic Giro, I'm not looking for kind of this tight side step, but just a general side step. So we'd go back and side. The reason why a lot of followers will do this kind of quick collection is because you're forward on your feet. So instead of kind of sitting back into that space, you're kind of going back, forward, almost falling into that side, into the forward step. So what I'd suggest is really kind of sit into that spot, into that back step before you go side, and it'll work out great. So you're going to go quick, quick, slow here. All right. The next thing I find that is very common is and this is probably the most common thing I run into, and this is specifically for Salon or I guess Nuevo. Of course, this isn't applicable so much to Milonguero style turns. In the side to forward collection, what often happens is back, side, and then if this side step is happening, is something like this, and stepping away. We have this rule that we always keep our chest to the partner. This is just kind of a good generic rule. Of course, if you're doing Nuevo, this is something different. You can that's part of Nuevo, but is to turn your chest away. That's fine. But in Salon, we try to keep our chest to our partners at all times. So when I go through my Giro, I'm really going to focus on maintaining my chest direction towards my partner. So what that would create is the distance between us is this radius, and it would stay the same the whole way around the circle. And so what we end up doing as a follower is, creating maybe a square or maybe a pentagon or a hexagon or some sort of shape around the leader, depending on the size of our steps. But every one of those points is on this circle. Yeah. So that circle, this kind of imaginary circle, is created by this radius between the two partners. So when the follower goes around the leader is the center of the circle, and the follower's steps are all happening on this radius. And the reason why that radius happens is because the frame doesn't change. Another way to think about it is if you're doing this with chest connection the whole time, then you will not lose chest connection. Maybe it's only on the side, maybe it's directly in front, or maybe it's on this side, but you won't lose chest connection, so the radius doesn't change. If we change the radius, then we're going off of the square, or we're making the square or the circle, or we're making this circle larger. And what we want to do is maintain the consistency of our chest connection or the distance between the two partners. So that being said, when we go from side forward here, what we want to do, so if I've just finished my back step, and let's say this shoe is my partner, so there's an imaginary partner here, I have my chest directed towards the shoe, or my partner, and then as I go side, my chest turns along with, and you can see the cat's eyes turning, right? So here, the cat's eyes are directly straight, and now the cat's eyes are turning, but yet my hips didn't turn. My hips are straight. So if I have a solid frame and I'm going to the side step, I turn my chest towards my partner, don't change the hips, and go forward. That's what I want. What I commonly get is something like this, is usually after the back step, maybe more arms, less chest, and then a side step to this. This also happens like from the forward side. So when we go here, when followers go forward side, they go forward, and instead of pivoting and going side here, it's kind of forward and then side-ish, kind of, and they're still forward intended. So for me, we want to point the hips in that square direction. So we're going to go side, and then here, I collect my feet, and I'm going to twist my chest to my partner instead of side, turn my hips away. If I turn my hips away, this is probably the most common problem I correct in my students for followers, is that they step then farther away from me, hence changing the distance at the end of their step between the partner and the leader and themselves. So, that being said, we're going to go back, settle into that, take the side step. And then once you get here, take that side step, finish it, turn your chest to the partner, don't turn your hips away from the partner. So for me, a backside forward, the hips stay in one place, and the chest is the thing that turns. So here's a practice you can do at home, going back, side, forward, back, side, forward. Just turning your chest towards your partner and not changing the hips or changing the direction of the hips. All right? So hopefully that helps. Hopefully you enjoy that. This is just one correction that I find so common in my students, so I thought it'd be nice to share to everybody. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button down below. You'll see it down below. Or share it on Facebook and share it with your friends. I'd love to have new people coming and seeing the content. So thank you very much, and also check out my link to the website, tangowith.com, down below in the description. Have a good week. We'll see you next week.